Hello, my friends. Okay, so this is a planetary weather update, a little report for Aries rising. You could listen for if you're an Aries sun or an Aries moon, but I really recommend people listen for their rising sign because it's a lot more accurate. So this will be for July 21st through 24th, roughly, because there's more stuff happening right in those centered days of the week here. Okay, so the overview is Jupiter is kind of having his like last hurrah with Venus Wednesday, Thursday, and then we're getting a full moon in Aquarius on Friday. So what does that mean for you? So Jupiter has been in your 12th house of kind of deep psychological, your psyche, your deep psychological underpinnings that you don't really need or at all have to have out in the world. There's something put away or warehoused away, like the attic of your life, kind of like things that emotions, memories, things that we don't really want to deal with or know how to deal with. It can be a lot of taking time to be away from the world, maybe mental health stuff, or just yourself undoing. It's like the stuff that goes on in your mind. It's that house. It's the house of, what is really going on here? Why did I warehouse this away? So Jupiter going through that place, and that has been happening for about 2 months since Jupiter went into Pisces, could be, well, let's just talk about Jupiter. Jupiter is the planet of more, of abundance, of possibilities, of opportunities, of options, of luck, and just seeing the bigger picture, having more come in. And I feel that, Jupiter in Pisces is such a great, strong place because Pisces is Jupiter's home, one of his home signs. So he has all of his tools, all of the stuff that he needs in his life to do the life of Jupiter the best. Like he can work at 100% here. He's got everything at his fingertips. So I feel that Jupiter Pisces in your 12th could have been, these past few months could have been a time of somehow healing with maybe compassion, maybe with like letting go and letting God kind of stuff. Like just like, I don't have the answers and I don't need them. I can just have faith and maybe we can start working this out. Or, something could be coming into your life, like an opportunity to retreat, an opportunity to take a silent retreat for a month or something like that. Or taking time away from the world. So that could have been happening during this time. And Jupiter being there is a good thing. We want that. Jupiter in his home sign, that's great. On Wednesday and Thursday, Jupiter is going to be in an opposition with Venus. And an opposition isn't really like that amazing often, but in this sense it's fine because it's Jupiter and Venus. It's not like war and strife or something. It's Jupiter, abundance, more possibilities, and Venus, love, romance, beauty, how we seek pleasure in the world, values, money. So that's really good, and they're coming together. And Venus is in your 6th house of health and healing. It could be hard work or service that you do out in the world, or like small pets and people who work under you. So something to do with that. And I feel that this could be kind of like a healing, like Venus and Jupiter together. Yes, they're coming together and they're clinking champagne glasses to just have this amazing moment of, more relationship, helpful, harmonious feelings, like indulgences, luxury, like expansion of beauty, just support and I can't, just everything good coming together. Okay, great. We want that. And in the 6th, 12th house, I would think that it may be something to do with health or just letting go. I would worry a little bit, not worry, but I would just say the only drawback to Venus and Jupiter coming together always is like going too far, because Jupiter is more and Venus is like all these great things. And it's kind of like you could take things too far, or you could be like, I'm overeating. I never eat this, but I'm eating all of it tonight or something. Or like I'm gluten-free, but not tonight. I'm going to eat this cake and it has blah, blah. And then you might pay the price for that. Or it's like the same thing with like throwing caution to the wind with money, or maybe promises, or something about relationships, that you extend yourself to this overinflated point that is like not sustainable going forward. So I would just watch out for that on Wednesday, Thursday. Like, yes, have your fun. Maybe eat your cake, have your cake and eat it too, but make sure it's like not messing up your restriction, your dietary needs that you know are going to mess you up if you go overboard. Something like that, like in whatever way it shows up for people, it's just like, we can party, we can have the champagne, but let's just, you know, not mess things up in the long term here. So going forward. So then Friday, full moon in Aquarius. So where is that happening? The full moon in Aquarius is happening in your in your 11th house. Your 11th house of friends, of groups, of alliances, clubs, things that you belong to, that you feel like, I belong to those people, or like maybe groups that you don't belong to anymore. It's just groups of people. And sometimes it often has to do with like social justice or community. So a full moon there is a very nice moment. I would say that's like a moment of, well, full moon is like a culmination or a harvesting, especially of the past 2 weeks of energy that is like just kind of coming to this point of saying, okay, you've planted the seeds and this is the harvest. We are here. This is kind of a moment of not closure, but like just taking stock of what is happening. And this big full moon is shining down in that realm of friends, of groups, of clubs, alliances. So we're saying, okay, that sounds good and fun. However, Saturn is very close to that point, and it's making it kind of like, hi, I'm Saturn, I'm sitting here. And Saturn is not like a party planet. Saturn is like, there's all this red tape and rules and regulations and boundaries and hard work and responsibility that needs to be done. And you're like, okay, dude, we know. But like, we've been just dealing with that a lot. That whole house of the 11th for you, of friends and groups, mixed up with the second house of your money, your assets, and then the 5th house of like what you do for fun, recreation, maybe children, maybe romance or something like that. Those have all been in play since late June, early July, and really the first week of July probably got, you know, blown out of the water with some energy there that was a little crazy. So this full moon is kind of like, yeah, remember all that? We kind of have to go back there. So it's kind of like a culmination in taking stock and being like, okay, but wait, we have to go back. Because that Saturn and Uranus and you know, the places that I just brought up, those are not going to be just gone. They're going to be in play very much so for the rest of the year and for most of next year, with eclipses next year. So we really have to pay attention to that. And it's just going to be maybe on the full moon, you know, a time of saying like, oh yeah, the red tape, and this is why I really need to do this work. So I would watch for that. And then the good news is, not that that's bad, but like the good news is that next week, and I'll talk about this more next week, that okay, so Jupiter is in retrograde right now. Jupiter is in your 12th house of the psyche, of things we warehouse away that we don't know how to deal with. And Jupiter is in Pisces in its greatest functioning place. Great. But Jupiter is going to be moving back into Aquarius, where he's kind of like, this isn't my most functioning place. It's not bad. It's just kind of like an Airbnb that's cool. There's nothing to write home about. It's just whatever. It just serves your purpose. And it's like, okay, fine. So Jupiter in his highest place, where he has all, you know, in Pisces, is like, he has all of his tools, can function at his best to bring that abundance and that luck and opportunity and expansion. And then moving back into Aquarius, it's kind of like, I'll do what I can here. I can still do my Jupiter thing, but it's like, you know, I'm working under someone else's idea of comfort. And so when he moves back into Aquarius, that means he's moving back into another house, because when we use a whole sign house system, that's what that means. I'll go into that at another date, but basically Jupiter expansion luck is now moving back into your 11th house, where Saturn is sitting and where Saturn has been since December. So that is good. That's like, okay, the full moon is showing us what we still have to work on in that 11th house of friends, groups, community. And Jupiter, just by luck, is next week, and we'll talk about that later, moving back in there also to say, hey, I can roll up my sleeves and help you here, because you need a little bit more. You need to see this in a different way. We need to see it in a bigger picture way. We need to see the possibilities at hand, the options, the opportunities, the optimism of the situation, and like look at what we have, what we do have, what can we work with. So that is really good, and that is we'll talk more about that next week, because that's a big thing for a lot of everyone. Jupiter is changing signs and he's changing houses, and he will be there until basically December 28th, like New Year's, you know. So this is something big, and hopefully we can all benefit from wherever Jupiter is bringing his luck, abundance, expansion, and bigger kind of picture kind of thing coming up. So I think that's what I have here for Aries rising. Yeah, that is it. That is what I have for you, and I will be back next week with more. All right, thank you.